Okay, so welcome everybody. We're going to get going. As you can see tonight, you've got the backup singer running the show. My name is Marcelo Lopez, and I'm here on behalf of the South Florida Agile Association and Transformation Experts. You know that our speaker tonight is Mr. Leon Chips Sabarsky, and he's going to be sharing with us some experience with scary UX or user experience. But before we get to that, I want to give the screen back to Nelu. I want to introduce you to transformation experts. One or more of you may be new. I see some new faces, or at least new to me. So I want to give her the screen and let her take over. So we are transformation experts. We are part of the South Florida Agile Association. And usually this is the point in the conversation where Rick talks about how our mission is to give back to the community, and not just be a training and coaching and transformation provider. We provide, what is it that we charge for these events, Joe?
Oh, I get to say it again twice. It's free as in beer.
Awesome.
Free as in beer. We charge absolutely nothing for this. And our association president, Rick, unfortunately is unavailable to us. He is on the West Coast. Okay, so we wish him well there. He'll be back soon, I think. So hopefully he'll be back with us running this show sooner than later. But yes, he's got that LA mindset. He's got that West Coast frame of mind. But for the meantime, I'm your backup singer. Again, as I said, I'm Marcelo Lopez. You know, I want to, make you guys aware, transformation experts. Of course, we do these free events every Wednesday and Saturday mornings. If you can join us here at 8:30 in the morning, we've got something for everybody. Okay, we've got beginners, intermediate, advanced. We've even got, if you need some experience, get in with our product development group. You'll actually get some more experience with Leon. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but you'll get some more experience with him to build up your resume of experience in helping build a product. As you see, Nelu is showing you some of the training that we offer: Scrum, SAFe, Kanban, Certified Agile Leadership, which is one of our newest offerings. It runs the gamut. Check us out at teculture.com. Okay. Also, if you want to become part of the conversation, we've got a free as in beer forum that you can join and capture your own thoughts, interact with others here in the community, and see blog posts from our coaches. Among them, we've got Leon and we've got Ray here as well. So a veritable slew of scary content to help you up your A game in Agile. So I've talked long enough, and I know that Leon is just burning to scare, I'm sorry, did I say that? I'm sorry, to share, not scare, you about user experience. So without further ado, we're going to turn it over to my friend, my protege, Leon. Please scare the bejeebers out of us.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Hearing.
Yay!
All right, so so I think what I want to do is we talked about the classes, which is great, and we enjoy giving back. I will tell you, we enjoy giving back, and we enjoy that you are with us instead of like doom scrolling or watching CNN or doing something else. We'd rather you be here with us. So we're very happy that you're here. And I think what I want to do,
While he's doing that, remember, this is a much more positive experience than anything you're going to find out there.
well, I mean, we're saying that now. Yes. So we talked about also South Florida Agile Association. You can just go to meetup.com or SFAA. Can someone help me out with the mute on that?
Somebody can.
There
Great, thank you. And here's some of our upcoming training, just for November. So we have a lot going on almost every weekend. Look, if you don't want to be with the family and Thanksgiving, be with us. We got plenty of good stuff. Bottom left-hand corner, discount code, 20% discount. Do not pass that up. SFAA 2020. Yes. Very good. Marcel is getting much better at this. It's
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. All right, let me move this around. It's up here somewhere. Okay. All right, so we're going to start off with, what was your first phone? So this is the interactive part. So I want you to put in the chat the number of the first phone that you had. And you can see you got 18 choices, if you can believe it. What was your first phone? And I'm going to rely upon Mr. Lopez to give me the count. And then he'll circle the one that has the most votes.
It's all over the place, Leon. It's literally all over the place.
Well, Marcel, I was a 1 and probably a -1.
Wow.
Because I had a bigger brick than that.
The Razor. That was
Wow. You guys will be surprised at what number is actually winning right now. This is very, very interesting. Okay. Well, there's 2 tied right now, Leon. We're gonna see if there's any more votes. I'm gonna give them five seconds. Okay. We actually have a tie, Leon, between number 9 and number 6.
Wow.
Interesting, huh?
Wow. Yeah.
Wait, 3-way tie. Somebody had to cast the Neo vote.
I love that, right? The slide thing, or the thing at the bottom there.
Yep.
Is this like in chronological order by any chance?
Yes.
And if I know
Ooh.
Leon, it is incredibly in chronological order.
It's aging us.
Yes.
Nobody had the flip phone Razor. That was.
Yeah, that
know,
was
right?
the third phone.
Not
I
as
might-
a first phone.
Yeah. It's just
maybe we're
amazing,
showing
right?
our age.
The evolution of the phone, right? And the antenna issues. I used to bend my antenna all the freaking time. When I was using 3 and 4, especially 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, I guess, around that.
Did anybody have a number 1?
I had -1.
I knew
Oh,
people who have one.
I had that.
There.
I definitely
There.
had number 1.
There. That's for you, Joe. Okay, because of course, everybody had to wonder. Okay, who's the oldest guy in the room? Okay, fine. There you go.
No, I didn't say that. I just.
No, I had it. My company
There you
actually.
go.
What's funny is I had a job where my company gave me a phone, and of course and that was the brick. Where I literally had to keep it in the car because I couldn't carry it around on a regular basis. So I kept it in the car. And then, of course, I used it as a boat anchor. So whenever I took my boat out, I used it as an anchor.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get you started with that. So, but it's just amazing, right? And then what was the user experience like for your first phone versus your phone right now? And what was that like? Just even the idea of texting came as sort of an accident. And no one thought that texting on a phone would be a thing. So it's just really interesting. Okay, well, there is a lot to user experience, There's design, there's content, there's analyzing, there's chemicals. Wow. Visuals, lots of stuff. There's just so much stuff with user experience, and there's so many ways we can talk about it. We're going to talk about scary UX, bad UX. We'll talk about some good UX, or maybe good UX. We'll talk about where we've been from apps and websites and we'll also talk about where are we going, where are trends for the future, and we'll kind of end on trends for the future with UX and design. And if you have questions, hit us up in the chat. Marcelo will alert me, and we'll go ahead and either take the question then or hold it till the end. We'll let you know. Yes. So this is I just came. This is when I went to the dentist.
Spooky.
Yeah. So, but bad UX can happen to you. It can happen to anybody. Sometimes when you're least expecting it. So you always got to be prepared for that, because then you might want to eat somebody's brains. So always be careful about that. And it can happen to you, and it can happen to anybody, and it can happen anywhere. So always be prepared for that. And what's interesting is that everybody's an expert on UX. From my experience, anywhere from the person in the lunchroom to the CEO knows exactly what good UX looks like and what bad UX looks like. Everybody's an expert when it comes to UX. We talk about any other part of development. Nope, don't want to talk about it. But if it's a website, everybody's an expert. So that's something that I know that UX folks and design folks have to deal with. I remember we were doing a presentation with an executive leadership team, and we spent 15 minutes talking about whether a button should be red versus blue. So, but that's what happens. Everybody's an expert. So one of the things about UX is you should never place interactive elements too close together. Anybody have a situation like this? And you have to wonder to yourself, like, when folks are putting this in, did anybody think about it, or they just did it, got the invoice, boom, done? So I think you always have to think about user experience, and always, have someone else take a look at whatever your design is and see whether it's useful and functional. Interactive elements should not be close together. What about this? I call this Florida remote control. How many people do this, have done it? So to me, this is like, I'm going to say, I don't know, half the nursing homes I've been to in Florida have something like this. And I did this with my family too, except I did it in black tape. And what's funny about controllers is they're not getting simpler, they're getting more complex. So this is not helping Florida remote control. And I wonder, this idea that Steve Jobs had about simplicity. Simplicity is hard. I think simplicity is super hard. It's much easier to be complex, and I think as humans, we love complexity. And we value people that can deep dive on any subject. We bring them in. We often don't value people that really simplify things. What's this?
My past.
Right? 2.5 million titles. What are they selling here? You remember, this font, right? This font brings back memories, right?
Yep.
Anybody know the year?
92.
Put the year in the chat, and we'll go ahead and talk about it. I like this stuff at the bottom. Big fun. Win prizes. Want to play?
We've got dates ranging from 1995, 96, 97 so far.
Yeah, I have Into Thin Air, which is the book about Everest hike that ended up in disaster. I have that book. I don't think I got it from Amazon though.
Okay, we've got somebody who listed 1991, Leon. So
Yep.
we've
Yep.
got somebody adventurous.
So
Said
what?
92.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon committed to 6 new books every day for the next 1,000 years. Wow. Right. So I mean, it's just pretty amazing where the Earth's biggest bookstore went to, and this was a very typical website back in the day. Very, very typical. They all kind of looked alike. All kind of looked like this. And then of course upper left, text only, so you could do text only too. All right. And lovely hyperlinks. A lot of investments in here, right? To me, these are all very scary, all of them. And for me, it's like, are we even listening? Are we even listening to our users, to our customers, to people that are out there? Has anybody even like run this by somebody? Or have we gotten into type of a groupthink where, you know, we know what the customer wants? How many people out there have heard or have been in a meeting where it's like, has anybody talked to a customer? Oh, no, we kind of know what our customers want. Anybody?
Yeah, a long time ago. We're getting better.
I wonder sometimes, how many people voted in line, actually went out and voted and waited in line? Type in the chat. How many years we've been voting here in America? Anybody can guess?
Hundreds.
And how is the user experience with hundreds of years of voting?
We still can't get it right.
Yeah, there's no reason we should have long lines like that.
Actually, I mean, it was pretty easy for me.
The early votes were long too.
So I mean,
But
think about it, right? We've been voting
A
for,
long time.
right? We've been voting, let's just call it over 100 years, right? To me, I feel like we didn't really, I mean, we were voting for a number of years without women having the right to vote.
Right.
So it's 100 years since women got the right to vote. So for at least 100 years, we've been voting with women.
That's progress. I mean,
sure. But you know, hours and hours and hours of waiting in line to vote. How is that user experience? And should we invest in it to improve it?
I go back to the thing that you said earlier about complexity. I mean, before, yeah, you just wait in line. Now you can early vote by mail, do these things. I don't know if that's, and one of the things I heard yesterday is that, like, they don't even count those votes until the day of election. So then it just delays things. So to me, that makes it more complex and doesn't really solve.
Some
Yes.
states.
Yeah, I will tell you that Florida does, you know,
Florida
count
does.
early,
Mhm.
so they count early. They've been counting early. But had we not had the 2000 debacle, that we might have been like other states. You don't know. Not sure, right?
Now they expect us to mess up, don't they?
Yep.
You know what? I like low expectations, personally. Right? We can only go up, right? We can't go lower,
Right.
right?
That's so true.
So I love low expectations, personally. So what about this?
Oh, I love that. I need one of those.
Is this a good idea?
Text on the stairs? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, look, we got lanes for it, right? So, I mean, you know, everybody at texting should go at the same pace, right?
I don't necessarily think you should be running on stairs either.
I
But
think it's
Up or
better than
down.
nothing. I think it's
Get-
better than nothing. Just
I
makes
get
it
the
fun.
idea of classes of service.
Yes,
The-
classes of service.
The problem here is that there's no indicator that the Kanban is running in one direction. What keeps you from running down at the same time that you're running up?
All right, all right.
Well, you know, I mean, I think I trust people to get out of each other's way, right? People are polite, aren't they?
And I see that they can only see the run from down.
Exactly.
What happens?
Right,
If
so you can only run up.
what happens if they cross the line too? Like say they're in texting and they.
No. There's no crossing the streams. So you have to stay in your lane.
Bad things
Yeah.
happen.
Well, you're texting. You're not paying attention, so I could see you going out in the different.
Yeah, there are no guardrails.
Yep. What about this?
Oh, wow.
Is this good?
I don't even know what to say about that.
Is more volume good?
No, not really.
If you have spinal tap, it is.
Depends on how good your hearing is.
How much,
Depends
how big
depends
the
on the
room
music.
is. It's
So,
relative
I mean,
to the
is
room.
more better?
Not always.
Not always.
Yeah, well, if it's
Less
distorted.
is more. Less is more.
I like this one.
So,
Oh, yeah.
how many people put in the chat, how many people have had years of user experience with the bottle on the left?
Oh, yes.
Now, and of course, I put anticipation at the upper right there. Who can sing the song?
Marcelo, contain yourself.
Who knows the song?
I know the melody, not the
Not gonna do
song.
it. Not gonna do it.
Aren't you my backup singer? So the funny thing about this is they actually made a song out of their bad user experience. What product would do that? And for folks that don't know what the song is, look it up on YouTube. It is called Anticipation. And what did you do to the bottle on the left if you couldn't get the product out of the bottle?
You
Took a
banged it
knife
on the
and tried to-
numbers. No, you banged it on the
Oh,
numbers.
yeah, that is way to do it. Than
On the
57,
57,
right?
you had to hit the numbers.
You had to
That's
hit
how
the
I made a
numbers.
huge mess when I was a kid, all over my lap.
You had to bang it on the 57. What else did you do?
Knife. I used the knife as well.
What type of knife?
The regular butter, not butter knife, but not a serrated knife, the regular knife from your cutlery.
Yes. So, like, literally, people are coming up with strategies to get this product out and be able to use it. So how many years did it take for Heinz to listen to its people and actually make a product, the same, make a product packaging differently, the one on the right? And how's that one?
Much better.
Much better. I wonder if it was the environment and they got away from the glass to the plastic, even though plastic's not good for the environment, but it's recyclable. But the glass was heavy and it broke a lot. So maybe that was part of the reason.
Other thoughts?
I think there's still some areas that use the glass one, like some restaurants, or am I wrong?
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, because they can buy it in bulk and refill it. It's gross.
Just saying. And then you got the little catch up sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The packets.
Right. So, to me, like this is kind of an example of where they had product packaging for years. Obviously got complaints and letters written in about it. People had strategies to get the product out and use it, and came up with their own strategies, like, banging on the 57. Who's thought of that, right? So people came up with all these different ideas and ways to get the product out. And Heinz didn't really bother to work on it until years later, and they've been doing stuff since 1869. And this is just a recent thing. So basically 100 years went by where they obviously got complaints about it, but didn't do anything about it. Still products used.
Are they in charge of the voting process as well?
It could be. So the thing about UX is which path are you going to take? Are you going to take bad UX? Or are you going to take good UX? And how do you know? How do you really know what good or bad UX is?
Feedback from your customers?
Data.
Data, yeah.
How about some testers? Get
Yeah,
a wide
testing.
range of people and do some testing, market research.
So at what point should you be doing UX in a product lifecycle?
As soon as you have something to show.
Before you build it.
Definitely before you build it, after you have at least high level requirements, so you can flesh it out more with the UX, in my opinion.
Yeah, do a prototype so you can get feedback from your users of whether you're on the right track before you even spend a dime on building it.
Has anybody had executives that knew their customers and said, no, we're just going to go forward anyways?
Yeah, my last team, but I'm not there anymore.
Right.
Actually, they didn't even say I knew the customers. I like it like this.
Yep, I like it like this. What have been objections that you've heard of? Other objections to getting user feedback when you've been on projects in organizations?
Takes too much time. It's you know, we don't have the
expensive.
resources to do that. That kind of stuff.
Too expensive.
Too expensive.
Okay. All right, those are very common objections. I usually get it's taking too much time, and when it gets implemented and users don't respond to it, what's the excuse?
It's not that big a deal.
When you say don't respond to it,
In other words, don't either purchase it or don't react to it, or it's, you know, the reaction that you thought you were going to get didn't happen, or, you know, again, no one's buying the product, or, you know, no one's enrolling, or, you know.
It's the project manager's fault.
Blame the PM?
No.
Write
else?
instructions.
Do a lot of people just move on to the next project?
Write my boss, write instructions. Make sure everybody knows.
Okay.
Yep.
Having these feedback loops in place. Seen this a lot, right? Paving the cowpaths. What does that term mean? Anybody? All right, put in the chat if you know. But it's essentially, you know, oftentimes the typical approach is you create design on what you think your users would want and how your users would use an application or a website or a mobile app or device or any type of thing. And you do it on how you would use it. And then you say, well, I'm a user, so I should be a good tester. And this is how I would use the application. But oftentimes your users will do something different with it. So can you name some examples where people have put out a product and users are doing something different with it? Or using it differently?
Yeah, shoe. Hammering nails.
Killing flies, sure.
Yep. Other examples? Any good examples in the chat?
I think I have a maybe really good example because that's what I'm currently experiencing at my place of work, where the Azure DevOps tool that is used to track Scrum work, the field that is meant for story pointing, when I got into the organization, I realized they use the field for feature estimation instead in hours.
Yep.
So they just completely drew away from story pointing because they don't want to hear about it, and they use that part to put feature estimation in there, not even story estimation in ours. So that's what's going on.
I actually just thought of two products that are used for different ones.
Yep.
One, I'm sure you've heard of Coke.
Yep.
Coca-Cola.
Yep.
Used a lot to clean your toilet and all kinds of different things. Clean your battery, terminals, all kinds
That's
of things.
what I used to do. I used to use Coke to clean my battery terminals and also the commode. Yep. Although what I never got was if you had an upset stomach, my mom said, no, drink Coke. And I was like, why would I do that? Because I'm putting it on my battery and in the toilet.
I think it's supposed to
that.
cause you to burp, and so you get rid of the gas pains that you might have.
Okay, thanks, Mom.
The other one I thought of was like WD-40. There's so many different uses. And
what does WD-40 actually mean?
German. It's actually a German thing. Yeah,
what does the W stand for?
Oh my gosh, I had a German friend who would know it.
It's water displacement, isn't it?
Water displacement. Water. What does WD-40 have to do with water displacement?
Eliminates humidity.
It gets into the cracks where the water is, and it lubricates and gets rid of the water.
Exactly.
Well, it's like an oil, and it kind of separates, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, like you ever seen oil floating in
kerosene.
water?
It's kerosene, yeah.
So how many people use WD-40 for water displacement?
You can use it to clean the oils on your tires. Works well.
I did it on a friend's boat when his engines flooded. He was like stunned when I put WD-40 on it, through it, right?
And the carburetor?
No, engine, boat engine, and they got flooded and stopped working, and I put it in and just flushed it out, got all the water out of it.
Put it in where?
In the whole thing.
Well, I mean, I took. Oh, let me move on from that, but sure.
You can use. There's another old mechanics one. Malox as an anti-seizing compound. Use Malox so that when you put screws and nuts and stuff together, they don't lock up, and you need to take them apart later on.
Yep.
Malox is.
All right, I'm moving on. We're losing folks. So, if this is something that I grabbed about like a university website. So, if we were building a university website, what do you notice about this?
It should definitely include the full name of school.
But the only thing that's aligned is the full name of the school.
Right. So do people that create university websites like talk to students or talk to parents or talk to, new students, graduating students?
Probably not.
Nope.
I've never been interviewed, and I have 2 degrees up from online.
I think I had an experience where I was interviewed on what I would like to see.
Right. So, and this is very, very common, by the way, especially with academic and government institutions. They don't even bother talking to anybody. So I do want to say, are folks confused about UX and UI?
Absolutely.
A lot of people are.
Okay. So I do want to pause and, public service announcement. UX is not UI. But a lot of people say, well, what? Like, be more specific. So this is very specific. When you're talking about UX, you're looking at user testing, user satisfaction, prototyping, collaborating on design. UI is very much, buttons, tools, inputs like mouse, user controls. So very much, interface related. The I is interface related. The X is very experience related. And so there's like left brain, right brain, you know, we almost got like the hemispheres right there. And yeah, you can have people that can master both, but oftentimes you'll see people that either master one or another. And you can go deep in both areas. But there's just a lot there for both of these. But just because you have somebody with UX don't assume that they're really good with user interface work. And then I don't want to get into full stack and all this other stuff. Not doing that today. I like to use the UX lifecycle a little bit, which thinking about positive user experience following from inception to transition. You know, getting impressions, starting to form an opinion of your brand, evaluating it, talking to people about it, talking to friends about it, then really engaging with the product. And, you know, are you motivated by using the product? Talking to people, you know, about the product. And then really start, you know, how is it fulfilling you as a person or your expectations? And then really the relationship over time. How many people can name a product that they're really passionate about? That you've talked to 10 other people about it. Put that in the chat. Name a product that you've talked to 10 people about, almost excitedly. Or you remember being super excited about it. Or maybe a brand that you've had, that you've been passionate about your whole life. What do we got in the chat?
A pen.
Sure.
Ford Mustang. Okay, I can see that. And Tide laundry detergent. Does that have to do with the smell? Wait, maybe that's too much information.
No, it's Tide Pod shots. You ever do Tide Pod shots, Marcelo?
Not in polite company.
Ah. But you know, there is a whole life cycle here with how people engage with a brand and their user experience of the brand, and it's different at different points. And sometimes folks don't know when you're engaging and where you're at. They won't ask. A lot of times they won't ask how long you've been using the product. It's interesting.
Yeah.
They'll just ask you about it,
Yeah,
and not really find out more background about it.
I think we have a winner though, Leon.
Yep.
Tacos and wine.
Mm.
They seem to have risen to the top.
Okay.
I must be hungry.
All right. So when you're thinking about, a lot of times, I think of that life cycle. A lot of times people think about the process. People want to get to the process. It's sort of this concept to cash process. But what I liked about this is that they're adding some things I think are super important with UX. Going from a concept to a prototype, investing in the prototype and saying this is mandatory. Of course, we have to validate internally with your boss, but test externally. So here's the thing. You validate internally, but you test externally. And then you factor in the user feedback and feedback loops and learning from user behavior and factoring that in. That's a part of it. You're paying for that. And then you're iterating from that. Otherwise, you could easily be disappointed in the product and stop using it and never use it again. How many people have tried a product, was enthusiastic about it at first, or looking forward to it, and then basically said, I'm never using this again? Put that in the chat.
Okay, that was a very cold comment from Ray. He's saying Android OS.
Yeah,
Sure.
I gotta challenge you on that one.
Obviously, we have an iPhone user in the house.
Yep.
He likes to wait for his apps.
What else we got?
We have the complete other side of the spectrum, iPhone. Apparently, this is a very polarizing question, Leon.
It can be. Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will not use a BlackBerry anymore. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go buy one again. Just me, phone wise. But there are some products, you know, again, that because we didn't learn from user behavior or test externally, that they invested millions of dollars in products and people aren't using it. What's a product? What's a company actually that just folded after spending $1 billion?
Oh, I know that one. Quibi.
What?
Quibi, Quick Bites, the video.
What's Quibi? What's Quibi?
It's a service by Jeffrey Katzenberg. They showed you TV episodes in 10-minute bits. Call them Quick Bites.
Yeah. So in other words, Jeffrey Katzenberg, who doesn't go online, and who's the other lady?
I forget exactly.
Anybody remember? I think it's head of eBay. Was it Meg Whitman?
Yes, Meg Whitman.
She has her secretary print out emails. Do you think they went concept, prototype, validate internally, test externally, and learn from user behavior and iterate?
Not at all.
But people put $1 billion into that. With a B. I also like this model where we're thinking about components like we're doing user research, understanding your user, coming up with prototypes, doing testing, looking at the look and feel of the UI, having it separate, doing it later, and then delivering support. So you're thinking about UI later, not right away. I also like, this is, you know, I like people thinking about this when they're getting requests. So how many people have gotten like build exactly this to generate the business outcome? So you see it's 1 through 8. Put in the chat the number which you typically get if you're on a delivery team. What do you get in terms of your asks from your business folks? What number do you get? What numbers are coming in?
So far the ones and twos, the ones, yeah, they're neck and neck, Leon.
Yep. So and that's very typical, right? Build exactly this or build something that does this. Versus, how about solve the customer problem or improve the experience for X? Wouldn't it be great if we got some 4s and 5s?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a couple, but apparently we have a winner, and that winner is 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it assumes a lot, right? When you say build something that does that, it assumes a lot. And versus trying to find out what the customer problem is or finding out what the experience is for some segment. Because then we're not saying to build anything at this point. We're trying to figure stuff out. And then once we figured stuff out, gotten data and gotten feedback, then we build. Versus build right away.
Mm-hmm.
We know. All right, I want to talk about UX trends. So this is like today, UX trends today. What's this? Isn't social media great? How many people have seen what's been going on today when people were trying to call states, like as for one candidate or another? What would happen? What happens on Twitter?
They're putting a message on it that it's not validated or something.
Yes. Now, did UX folks think about this ahead of time?
No, I think there was reacting.
Yeah.
So shocking that never in our history have we had misinformation, right? For me, my father primed me with misinformation when he told me I was adopted when I was 5 years old. And I got it the rest of my life. So UX folks don't think about this, what they're calling post-truth era, where there's misinformation everywhere, where there's deep fakes, where you can't trust anything. And now you got to build that into your design and have it ready to go. Now, do you think it's going to look like this 2 years from now?
Probably. No. They'll improve it.
They're going to improve and evolve it, right? So they'll be coming up. There's probably going to be jobs only doing to address misinformation and disinformation and deep fakes. That's what we'll be doing all day. Imagine if you had a job like that. Would you like that job?
To be a fact checker?
I hate it. That would drive me nuts.
Right? But I think it would be great jobs for those friends you have that always want to be right. Marcelo.
I was distracted by another user interface here.
Yes. Goodbye, Medium. What are micro communities?
Oh, I love Medium.
Yes. Everybody's not loving Medium. People are moving away from Medium.
I like it.
Right? Because, and what people are doing is they're seeking out smaller communities in which to curate information, more one-on-one, more smaller groups. And of course, you know, I guess COVID's impacted that. But you're seeing a lot of content providers. We're seeking out smaller communities, not bigger communities. What's happening with people posting content on Twitter? What's happening with that? What if you're a woman on Twitter? What happens?
What do you mean?
What if
You
you're a
get
woman
aggressively hit
on
on.
Twitter that puts strong opinions out there?
I would assume a lot of backlash.
I don't use Twitter, so it's hard for me to answer the question.
Yep. So
It's very
a lot of these communities are just getting bogged down with trolls, and become very negative. So people want places where, you know, it can be somewhat friendly. Not that people want to avoid constructive criticism, but be somewhat friendly, and they have some sense of community. Twitter used to be like that. It's arguably no longer that way. Online design migration. What's this? You know, now design is online, period, online. We're you know, there's everything that's done in design now is online. And also very accessible.
Yeah. Isn't that because we've kind of narrowed the different kinds of form factors that are you know out there, and that's facilitated that transition, Leon?
So this trend will continue unless you're doing something physical. Even if you're doing something physical, where are cars designed now? On the factory floor?
Oh.
The computer.
No.
That's been happening way before.
Yeah.
Even factories are being done. Even factories are designed virtually. I mean,
Alfredo, you're right. 3D printers, right?
that's one thing. But even before.
Yep.
They're building houses out of 3D printers.
Yep. You can build houses. I mean, CAD, you know, CAD sort of started it off, but now everything's online. I want to talk a little bit about UX roles. So sometimes people can go crazy and say, we need all these roles. But really UX, in my mind, is a team effort. So You don't have to hire your user researcher and a BA and a front-end developer and an information architect. All of these things. One or more people can do this. I would argue one person doing this is a lot, but especially front-end developer with everything else. But these are all of these things can factor into user experience. But it really is a team effort, and you don't have to have a specific role or title to be able to do these types of things. But there's just a lot there. There's a lot here, right? And so, but this can be shared again, and you don't have to have a specific role or title to do it. And this factors into designing as a team sport. So do people allow you to step out of your role, regardless of what it is, to do some user experience research or testing, interviews?
No, everybody's allowed to participate.
How do you give feedback to design at your company or your organization or for your products? How do you give that feedback? Do you do it via email? Do you do it on a doc? Do you do it on the design itself? Do you do it in a forum? How do you give feedback on design? In a meeting?
Demos.
Demos? So one of the things about design, though, is in design feedback is having it in both structured and unstructured ways, right? A structured way would be a demo, and also unstructured ways. Rendering intentionality. So thinking about UX is solving user problems. And again, if you look back to that ask, it's not building something, it's solving user problems, not just adding features. And then what would happen if a team took a feature away? What about the you've reached your article limit? How's that?
I hate that.
Yep. That's why I think people are tending to leave Medium now.
Yeah, you pay for it or you can only get 1 or 2 or 3 a month.
Yep. I'm reading something, get one more story in your, member preview.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, we have cookies. No duh. Right?
Right.
I mean, like when people do this, do they say, well, like they have to do it? I mean, have people asked? Like, what about chatbots? How many people like chatbots?
Oh, they're aggravating.
Oh, is that like when you go to a site and then it says,
How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm here to help you. Yeah.
How can I help you? To me, chatbots are the new Clippy. Actually, I will stop using products online if I get, chatbot stalking. So if I get chatbot stalking, I will stop using your product. I will buy something else somewhere else. I will go to sites that have no chatbots. That's the user experience that I want. How many people have used the thing on the left, design files? Pages and pages and pages of mockups, right?
It's so long ago.
Is it?
Well, not in our company, we don't do that.
Okay, good. Then where do you leave comments?
Well, in our company, they use an online tool, the design tool you were talking about.
Yep.
And we can all go out there and leave feedback.
Yep. So it's like what you said here, browser-based tools open the door to collaboration. And again, I grabbed a quote here, we are the design tools.
Right. Nice.
Right, so think about that, these idea of design files that are static, that you can't collaborate or use or give feedback on itself, that's going away. That's all going to be online, and that it's going to incent collaboration on the design. Information architecture. Who'd have thought information architecture was UX?
I don't think I ever have.
Yeah.
So what if you built, look at the picture on the right. What if you built a website page like this? Where besides like mocking stuff up, you're also saying, well, this technical element needs to be there. It's called hazard mapping.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Hazard mapping?
Hazard mapping.
There it is. Yep.
And what you're doing is you're saying that there needs to be some technical elements that you need to think about now, not think about later on and then build it late. That you're thinking about these information architecture and whether it's available, whether it's reusable, whether you need to build it new, what data is behind that, and then potential things like vulnerabilities or maybe compliance, right? GDPR or what is it? CCPA, what is it? What's the California thing? Yeah, CC something. CC Sabathia, I forget what it is. It's something on California privacy, right? So it's thinking about when you're building a website, not just building a bunch of buttons and saying, okay, build this, and then we talk about the technical elements. We talk about it up front. We bake it into the design. Invisible design systems. So, and isn't this interesting? People are now talking about a design system as reflected of a company's values.
Mm-hmm.
So why when you do select one, male always comes up first? Are there more males in the world?
No.
Is it alphabetical?
No.
No.
Why?
Is it inclusive?
So if you are a female and you're getting hit with this, I guess, are you used to this? Or, you know, is this set up for the future?
Nope, not set up for the future.
It's at least a little better because it used to just say sex, right? So think about your design systems as a reflection of your company values. Also, you know, people have jobs, by the way, of GIF curation, and it's GIF, not GIF. And so, I mean, it's huge. Like people have jobs that just do this. And it's one of the top design skills for 2020. But think about design in this way, because a lot of folks aren't thinking about this, about how design's reflecting your company. Think about your own company's website, your own company's design, your own company's products. And are they set up for the future? Are they socially inclusive? Things to think about. And I think I'm going to end on that. And I want to open it up to some thoughts about today's talk. Comments, questions, realizations.
I learned a lot about what my UX designer goes through.
Yeah.
How they have to think about it from I knew he thought about it from every area, every angle, but I didn't know all the technical terms for what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna pretend like I know tomorrow when we get on a call.
Mm-hmm.
Notice Leon kept it very process light.
Yeah.
And very human heavy, which is how it should be. Very process light, very human heavy.
Nice.
What are people calling UX now?
UI?
No, there was something, he's certified in something, there's a different name for it.
Folks know? I used to go to UX conferences. I no longer go to UX conferences. I go to human factor conferences.
That's it.
So that's what
Yeah.
I wanted to
Human
ask you guys
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that, because
And-
that's,
And there's,
have you guys ever worked with industrial designers or stuff? I had to take a human factors course. My background is industrial engineering, so.
Yep.
and
So
now,
I'm surprised, I guess this UX thing to me, yeah, that's HE,
Yeah.
or HF or whatever. And industrial design, there's a lot of industrial design in there. So I'm asking you guys from your perspective. I'm coming from another industry, so I'm a little bit.
So why is
different
UX
perspective.
why is UX now called human factors?
Because they're trying to put the human element in it. Just
exactly,
took a guess.
exactly, you know.
Well, do you just get the human element by putting human in there?
Mhm. No, it's refocusing, I feel. It's trying to put the focus back on where the focus should lie, because it's where you're actually interacting. It's gone so far that now we actually have degrees in colleges. I have a friend of mine who did his PhD in what's called affective computing. No longer computer science, it's affective computing, okay? Because it focuses on everything that Leon's been talking about, is how does it affect the human? How does it affect the human?
What sounds better, human or users?
Oh, I stopped using user a long time ago. We don't
Me-
even say UX, really, it's CX, it's customer experience.
So I think the human factor kind of touches more, like it's more feeling, it's more a personal type experience as opposed to just a generic type thing. It kind of pushes that button, the want button, as opposed to, it's there. It's like
I
if you
hear you.
want it, you will go get it. If you want it, you'll pay for it. It's like the thing is, when you make it appealing enough for somebody that wants it, and I think the human factor kind of touches at that at the core of what it is that makes you tick.
And I really like that. So for me, what resonated with me was when you say human factors, it brings in human behavior, or the study of human behavior,
Oh,
and makes that prominent. It's not, so to me, UX might be what are my users doing? And human factors might be, what are my users thinking? What are my humans thinking? How are they making decisions? What's their process like? Where are they now? How are their feelings? How are the,
Yes.
how is their in the experience? How are their feelings changed? And so in my mind, user experience can be very narrow, where human factors can be very broad. We're taking the whole human into account and human behavior in it. And I think that's where kind of where I see UX going. That's where I see it's really going, on the study of human behavior and investing in that, spending money on that, not just bringing people in a room saying, try this, how do you like it, done. And then also trying to build relationships over time. So, because you might use a product when you're 20 years old and use it differently, or maybe not use it at all when you're 50. Put some products out there in the chat that you used when you were 20, and either not using now, whatever age you are, or using it differently. Think about some products where you used extensively when you were 20 and are not using it anymore, let's say when you're 40.
Wow, Victoria, you just took me back. Okay. Yeah. Perhaps close to TMI, Saba, but yes, false eyelashes.
Is that a you don't use anymore, Saba, or you do?
I do not anymore.
But the next generation under us are using it like crazy.
Cassette tapes or CDs. Okay, somebody's predicting cable TV is going the way of the dodo.
Well, I know a lot of people that don't have cable.
I cut the cord a long time ago.
And the
Yeah, a lot of
VCR,
people-
I think the VCR has gone the way of the dodo already.
So to me, what I really see, something really big on the horizon, I think even bigger than, we talked about virtual reality, is going to be the evolution of the user interface. And meaning no interface. The user interface goes away. So can you name some items where there's no user interface?
Okay, Google, how about Alexa?
I couldn't compare
Right.
myself to Alexa. We assistants have to stick together.
Well done.
Sorry.
It was good, Saba.
Alexa has a user interface.
Is it?
You
I
have
mean-
an app for it, yeah.
How many people use Alexa's user interface?
Nobody.
We're saying it has one.
Yep. So that to me is the future. You're going to see people building more Alexas and Siris and Google.
Artificial intelligence, yeah.
Yep. Where not I would say not even AI, but now AI would support it in my mind. But who wants to type in anything anymore? Why?
Exactly.
Why should we have to type in anything anymore? Why should we have to learn how to type? I mean, people are forgetting cursive. Let's just ditch it all. We shouldn't have to write or type at all. People are coding via voice right now, today. People are developing with just voice. Probably, in 20 years, we may not type.
I like to go to a meeting and then have it all the meeting notes just automated.
Right? Remember when the Palm Pilot first came out? How was writing in the Palm like? On those PDAs.
You're totally taking us back now.
Right?
Oh my God.
And it was terrible, but it got better. And so what you're going to see is, you'll see these, Alexas and Siris get better and better and better and better at understanding what you want, and then being able to do more and more and more of your daily tasks.
So can I interject for a moment?
Sure.
Because you just hit on something. So for thousands of years, we have been writing, at least 10,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
And writing psychologically improves the way you retain and learn. So
Yep.
all of a sudden you stop writing or we take it away. How does that, we have to adapt for that.
Yep.
So our evolutionary process, even communication, just the way we write and we text now, texting, or we just conversations with kids. Do you have kids? The teenagers, yes, no. That in itself has changed. We were used to having an actual conversation versus a yes, no. That's changing the way we interact socially. How are we have to factor that in too. Technology can get ahead of us. And like the bots, that's supposed to be helpful, but it's not. Sorry, I'll get off.
Yeah.
No, I love it, Alfredo. I agree with you.
I agree.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't let my son text me from another room in the house, and I make him come talk to me.
I had young people, engineers working for me that were just like, texting or sending emails. I'm like, just call the person and talk to them to get their attention to solve the problem.
Right.
I mean, how many people don't know that? It's not their fault. That's the world they're growing up with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's changing the way we interact socially. It's changing everything.
Right.
Slack, it's all about Slack and other IM tools. Constantly poking my team members, well, when we were in the office, they're around on the other side of the wall, right? Why are you slacking?
Yeah. But this is how it's going to evolve. And so I think based on what I'm seeing that, you know, there's going to be just a huge rise in, you know, no interface. Like the term user interface will go away in a sense at all. And sure, we'll have screens and things like that, but it'll be all done with voice. And you'll see more and more of our daily tasks with smart homes and everything we're doing. Digital assistants will be much different. And we're going to have robots, literally robots do stuff for us. We'll be triggering them by voice. So much will be done by just voice. And you'll see typing and writing just start to plummet.
Are they going to replace us Scrum Masters and Agile coaches?
No, we have the emotional side. Sorry.
Could
I
happen.
don't know. Look at Leon's face. I don't know.
Not sure. Not sure. Other thoughts, comments, questions from the presentation today?
Oh, it was really
Yeah,
helpful.
copy
Thank you,
it.
Leon.
I want to be a gift curator.
Gift curator.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like very fun.
But
I mean, that's what people, I mean, right? It used to be, remember back in the day, I won't say back in the day, but I remember it was all about ringtones. So one of my friends worked at a company where the early ringtones, and their stock was going up and up and up and up. And then all of a sudden people stopped doing that and it plummeted.
Yeah.
And now how many people have ringtones on their phone?
I do.
I do.
I don't.
I got the coolest ringtone.
I have
I do.
2 ringtones. And
Yeah.
and
Family.
Joe knows which ones those are.
Yeah, one
Huh?
for family and one for everybody else.
I have
Okay.
specific ones. One for my son,
like
because
that.
when he calls, no matter what, I have to answer. So
Yes.
My friend has cockroaches or bugs, crickets sounds for when her
Yeah.
kids call.
Yeah. Nice. What you're gonna see, especially with millennials, is that number one, they don't want to call anybody ever.
no,
Oh, yeah.
And you're not going to be seeing ringtones. And so if you're in the ringtone business, probably want to get out, because not going to want to do it anymore. And there'll be a time, there's going to be a time at which you're just going to see actual phone calls plummet. Now, as we age, you'll just probably see that start to go down. Actual phone calls.
Well, it's already gone down. Like even texting, like I think people are getting away from that too. Like,
Yeah, I think these days people prefer using voice notes.
Yeah.
well, my kids are quick to use the FaceTime. Like we could be in the middle of dinner or something, and my son has got FaceTime ringing. I'm like, well, you could be in the shower. Why are they calling you like that?
Yeah.
oh yeah, drop-in mode or whatever.
It's all video. Yeah, video chat. It's all about video chat.
Well, Zoom. Look who we're at now. What we're doing.
And I mean, like that was before the pandemic.
Yep. So let's wrap up. So how are you leaving here thinking about UX? What are you taking away?
With a human factor.
Factor, yeah. So you guys know the drill. We call out to turn on our video. Okay. We capture an image of all of us. Okay. And try to be creative. Think of